Hey, Crusader here today. Very excited to try a new project. Something new, something I've never done before. It is a review of a comic. Now, I think I am uniquely qualified to do this for a couple of reasons. Number one, I've barely read any comics in my life, so I have nothing to compare it to speak of. I have read the miniseries called The Last Ronin on the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and I did read um, a fair number of the Ultimate Spider-Man series. I bought the some of the collections, but other than that, I haven't really read any comics of any consistent nature. So I'm really excited. I did read a little bit of Invincible. Other than that, that's it. I used to read like the Sunday paper comics, like Calvin and Hobbes, Dennis the Menace, stuff like that. So I really don't have a lot to compare it to. But when I was a kid, uh, I was born in '84. So when I was 10 years old, I started collecting action figures from a series called Spawn. It was brand new in '94. I'd never heard of it before. I found it at this unique little store, and each figure had a comic book on the back of the blister, and so I started reading. So I got to read the first three, four, five issues just by collecting the action figures, and then I never followed up with it ever since. It was never anything I got to interact with after that point. I grew up in an area we didn't have comic book shops, like there wasn't anything near us. So all that to be said, I thought it'd be great. So I bought the collection of the first 50 issues, and so we're gonna go through those issues. Sometimes we'll do multiple issues in a review. Sometimes we'll just do one. Today we're just gonna do one, kind of get a feel for this. Again, you may compare it to other series, other things. Having previous knowledge with your comic reading, awesome. I don't have it. I'm really going to be looking at it from a fairly unique perspective. I'm less than 10 issues into reading it right now, and I'm going to stop. And my goal is I'm only going to review it as I read it, so I don't have future knowledge of what's going on in the series. So I'm going to kind of give you my, I wonder what's going to happen here, and I really won't know. I can kind of make some guesses, and we'll see what happens along the way. I think it'll be a lot of fun. They're not going to be long reviews. And so what I've done though is I picked selected pages from the comic that we're going to look at. I'm not going to look at every page of every comic. That would take way too long. And I'll kind of overview some of the things we're skipping along the way and get there. But anyway, I thought Spawn was the coolest looking figure, had the best action figures when I was a kid. Lots of articulation, lots of detail, especially for the '90s. And so we're going into it right now. So this is the opening cover of the first issue, and you can see how it's looking. So, all right. So it starts off, and we have Spawn. It starts off with like this view of the universe in the first page, zooms in, and you see this world. He's kind of confused, and this is the next page. You can see we can zoom in a little bit here, and you can see he's upset. Damn his lies. He accepted the deal on his terms, his rules, his way. And you see this progression of pictures that are floating through his mind. There's skulls. There's a person. There's a different view of the person. Another skull. There's the universe. He doesn't know what's going on. And somewhere in time, he busts a gut laughing. And then you see this counter down here. And at this point, we don't know any more than that. Now, because I have read it several issues, I do know a little bit about what's going on. But at this moment, this is all we know. So it's like, okay, they're setting the scene. And so here we have that counter more clearly displayed at the top. Yeah, he gave me powers, but he robbed me of my memories. If I can just find her, then I'll know what this is about. But I can't even remember who she is. None of this makes any sense. A handful of images darting in my mind. That's it? That's all I have of my life? I feel I could do anything, anything at all with my power, but why can't I remember? She'll know who I am. So if we go back to that previous page, he's kind of pictured this lady. He doesn't know who she is, but he believes he does know her, and she knows him, and she holds the answers to what's going on. Of course, he's referencing somebody who gave him powers. He doesn't elaborate on that at this point. We don't know who that is. I know now, and you'll find out in a future issue here. But at this point, somebody gave him powers, and he has lost all his memories. And there's this lady he kind of has an image of who should be able to solve it. And so he says, I'm going to find her, all right, down here. And when I have some answers, I'm going to find him, the one who framed me. All right, so we have another kind of scene being set for us. Is he's been framed. Framed for what? I don't know. Actually, I really don't know at this point. I haven't figured that out. And so we know he's angry. He's upset. This lady's going to help him figure things out, he hopes, and he's going to hopefully find the one who framed him. And I thought this picture quality is amazing. So you can see the suit. He's got the spikes on him. So I really enjoyed the spikes. I thought that was cool. He's got the chain holding the cape onto him. The skull kind of being the clasp is really neat. And but the cape is really well designed. It's really good. Very very big fan of the artwork. Well done. And then he starts to take off his costume at one point. My face felt like, and he's confused. And then all of a sudden he's very upset. What am I? He wants to know, like, what's wrong with me? Like, why do I look so hideous? So he doesn't know why he looks like this. He doesn't know what happened to him to cause him to be in this condition, this state. And so we get, well, here, we'll pause here for a moment. What ends up happening is he goes, he kind of becomes a hero fighting in the shadows. He's in the streets, and he's going out and he saves a girl being attacked by a gang. And he uses a little bit of power. We don't understand where the power comes from, how it's used, but we do notice the little counter goes down by 5 points. So instead of 9999, it goes down to 9995. But after the attack, he kind of has this memory attack where he collapses, and she's holding him in the alley as he's trying to gather his thoughts and understand what's going on. So there's a lot of confusion there. He does come to the realization that the woman he's picturing is his wife, and so he's trying to come to terms with that and what that means as well. Then there's a little side story of these detectives that are finding mafia men that have been executed with having their hearts ripped out. They don't know what's going on. They think it's a government agent that's been like superpowered by the government, and they're concerned about what's going on. It's funny, they're not concerned about who's being killed because it's the mafia men and they want him to die, but they are concerned that this is happening and they can't find out the answers. So that's kind of where we're at. And the last page of the issue is this one right here. So the detectives there are talking, and then you see this ha 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 ha. It says somewhere in time, and then this person speaks, says ha 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 ha. Simmons, yeah, Spawn's name is Al Simmons. If you didn't know it, if you think you've got problems now, I promise your troubles have just begun. Ha 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 ha. Next issue, The Violator. And so this becomes a mainstay in the first few issues. We're going to learn about the Violator and how that worked and what his relationship is to Spawn. And I do think I would have missed this had I not, read a little bit further ahead at this point. So like I said, I won't have that perspective in the soon, but it says somewhere in time. So we understand there's a time component to Spawn that I never knew about. So that clue should have stood out to me. I kind of missed it early on. So anyway, that's the opening issue. It's a good scene setter. My son asked me, is Spawn a hero? I'm like, well, probably an anti-hero, maybe a vigilante. There's a couple different ways of looking at him. Not exactly sure yet. Definitely not your classic clean-cut Superman hero. Where it goes from here, I'm not exactly sure, but I'm looking forward to finding out. I hope you've enjoyed this review. Hope you're looking forward to finding out more about Spawn. I'll try to streamline the videos where we're a little bit more concise with some of our talking points and everything, and we move through these issues relatively quickly. And if you have any thoughts, questions, or want any more things elaborated on, let me know. But until next time, it's been Crusader, and I am out.